Hi everyone. Hopefully you guys are able to see all of us. So I have Nidhi and Dhaval with me, and I'm Ankush, and we are here to answer all your questions around career camp and everything that you want to know about the program. We'll be happy to answer. So just to give you a quick introduction. Just to give you a quick introduction, Nidhi currently manages all the learning at Career Camp. So whoever joins Career Camp will be working along with Nidhi a lot, and she is one of our founding members at Coding Ninjas. So she actually is the instructor for a lot of our courses as well. She teaches in C++ course as well as the data science course, right? So you'll be learning through her content as well as you'll be discussing with her a lot in terms of your growth and whatever process is running in the overall program, right? Dhaval is one of the co-founders at Coding Ninjas, and in this webinar, he'll be able to answer all the questions around anything you want to know about. What is the deferred payment agreement? How does the whole payment system work? Anything about the EMIs, anything around that, Dhaval will be, and also about placements, Dhaval will be the person who will be able to answer all of that, right? Perfect. So looking forward to questions from you guys. So do leave all your questions here and we will start picking that up. I'll quickly start with a few questions that I would like to, if I was a student, I would like to ask. Let's first of all begin with who should apply for this program. So like who all are like eligible to apply for this program. So Dhaval or Nidhi, would you like to take that?
Yeah, sure. I'll take that. So, in my opinion, okay, so I think before answering that, let me clear what is the motive behind this entire career camp course, like with what intention, like we created this course. Uh, I think after that, students will be able to understand the better, like who should apply for this course. So, I think career camp is the kind of offering which we created with that intention that anyone who's looking for a job in software domain, anyone who wants to be a software developer, we should be able to provide all the required skill set which are demanded by industries when any student is going for an interview. So with that intention, we actually created this offering, and it is having combination of all the required skill sets which are demanded by any particular organization. For example, companies demand that you should be good at data structure, you should be good at programming, you should be good with algorithms, you should be good with front end, back end, like multiple other skill sets. You should be good with system design part, your presentation, your resume part. So all of that is combined in one course. So I think that's the intention behind this course, and I think anyone who wants to be a software developer, anyone who wants to find a good job in software development domain, that student should take this course. And there is one more eligibility criteria, that student should be either in final year or should have already graduated, because the duration for this course is like 9 months. So 9 months is the learning period. After 9 months, we start the placement process where student gets to appear for different interviews. They need to go for different interviews and find out the relevant jobs for them. So we are looking for someone who can join the job immediately after this program. So anyone who is in final year or already graduated and want a good job in software development domain should be eligible for this course.
Okay, sounds good. So when is the test, and like if I'm applying, like what should I prepare for? What is the sort of like syllabus for the test? What are you guys going to test me on, and like what is the criteria like on all of that, right? If you can just give me a quick brief on that.
Yeah. So test is on 22nd of November, and I think it's at 8 p.m. And the syllabus for test is I think so majorly the test is around the basic aptitude questions, where the motive is to check your basic logic abilities, if you are good at like basic maths or not, if you like solving different kind of questions or not. So intention is that, and we'll be asking some basic questions on coding also, but that's not mandatory. That's like an optional thing. If you know the coding part, that's amazing. If you don't know, that's perfectly fine. Will be completely okay if you do well in the aptitude part, and based on that, you can actually get the admission.
And that's it. Like if I clear the test, I get admission into the program.
So after the admission, there is one small personal discussion kind of around where we generally try to understand what student is exactly looking for. Like, student wants to get a job in which domain, student wants to go for higher studies or so. We just want to understand what student is having some plans in their mind and if they're aligning with the course intention or not. And second most important thing is we just want to understand how much time student can give devote to this course, which is actually required. Because if I'm not as a student, if I'm not able to devote the required amount of time, it will be difficult for me to like finally achieve which I'm desiring before joining this course. So we actually want to ensure the student is able to devote the required amount of time, and the student's goal and our goal are aligned together. And for that, we after the test, we generally have a small discussion, personal discussion round with the student. And if we feel like student is a good fit, then we generally offer the admission to student. So
Okay.
that's like a two-step process. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Perfect. So I'll continue on this journey and I'll ask a few more questions. But let's first quickly take a couple of questions from our students as well. So okay. So let's take this. Okay, so Vishu Gupta is asking that he has a gap of 3 years after graduation because he was preparing for civil services. Will this course help him to overcome that gap while pursuing a job? Right. So, Vishu, this is a very common profile that we get for within our applications. Somebody who try to prepare for civil services or some other sort of competitive exam and wants to get back into job. And like won't take the name, but like a very quick example comes to my mind is recently somebody who got a job at Health Cart after doing a program. Was very similar profile where like the person had 2 to 3 years of gap due to preparing for civil services, right? So they were able to get a job at Health Cart as well. Eventually, right? Like so, they will be the way I would like to answer this is two parts. One is IT industry, especially product-based companies, are least bothered about your background and are far more worried about your skill set. So if you get the right skill set, they are generally happy to take a bet on you irrespective of what you have done in past, right? So they will be happy to do that. That being said, there will always be few companies who will worry about, hey, you have a gap of 3 years or something else. But that's absolutely okay because we don't have to get multiple jobs, right? Like we don't have to crack each and every company's interview process. We have to get one job. So even if few companies don't let us sit for the interviews, that's absolutely okay. And that's not going to be a problem at all, right? Uh, I hope that answers your question, right? So Dhaval, this one I would love to have you take, right? So this is from Nikhil. Nikhil is asking, what is the surety of placements and referrals if I'll be solving assignments in proper manner?
Fantastic. I think that's a good question. Okay. So, Nikhil, I think it's question was from Nikhil. So, Nikhil, the onus of this course, of completing the course, a lot of depends on you. And what we have seen in the past is that the students who are able to complete the content with full effort and do really well in their assignments, really do well in our expectation of what they're learning, really do well in the tests which we conduct on a very frequent basis. These are the students who would almost everyone as of today would already have a job or an internship within BPO. What the trend we have seen is that anyone who is doing the content well and does their part well usually will end up getting a job within the required time frame. Doing the placements for such a long time, what we have seen is that you would have seen in the market that there are a lot of jobs which are available, are posted every day in the market, and you'll also see a lot of people still looking for a job. which essentially means is that there is some disconnect in the market, and the disconnect is not about the quantity of applicants. The disconnect is only about quality of applicants. So in India, what essentially it boils down to is that if you are a high quality student who understands the concepts of coding well, you will have multiple job opportunities in front of you, because the deficit in the market is about quality, it is not about quantity. And that is why you see so many jobs were still vacant, and you still see so many students still applying, right? And that is the area we fulfill. So a clear cut answer would be that if you are able to do your work, your part of learning well, you will eventually get up a job. Now, if the question is about surety um, in terms of fees and money, and if that is the question, then one straight answer there would be that for that concern, we do have one payment plan, which is essentially linked to the CTC of the job you get, and which kind of is the only way in which we can assure you that if you do not end up getting a job, you do not have to pay that remaining amount, which is in a way kind of a guarantee from us. And I think that's the only practical way to guarantee. And if you don't get a job, you don't end up paying. So that solves for your financial fee angle to the surety of the job part.
Okay, perfect. So Nidhi would love to understand if you can give some more idea on what is this course all about? Like, what all will we cover? What content is taken care of and why, right? Like, so if you can just give a quick idea on that, that would be great.
Sure. So, like I said, the intention behind this course is to ensure that anyone who is joining this program should be able to get a good job by end of this program. So that's the core intention. Now, for becoming a software developer, I think the first and foremost skill which is required is the knowledge of programming, knowledge of coding, knowledge of data structures and algorithms. So to handle this section, in this career camp course also, our first 2-3 months are entirely devoted around learning the data structures and algorithms part and ensuring that you are getting good and good with every day with writing code, with debugging, like with writing a good program basically. So for initial 2-3 months, we'll be devoting around learning the data structures and algorithms with the help of Java language. So that's like the first major and very important course of the course of this entire curriculum program. Now, after learning the data structures and algorithms, we'll start with learning web development part, which is like the another very important skill set for becoming a software developer, where we'll be learning front end, back end, and then we'll be moving on to learning an advanced front end library, which is React. Now, along with these two important courses like data structures and web development part, we'll be learning a lot of important practical skill sets also, just like learning the aptitude part, gaining some knowledge around operating system, like how operating systems work, and the database part, DBMS part, and the system design part. Learning how to write a good resume, understanding how should we behave around in non-tech rounds, like in HR rounds and all. So all such skill sets which are required, will be trying to cover them in parallel along with this data structures and web development part. So I feel these are the core areas where we'll be focusing and devoting our time throughout this entire learning program of 9 months. And as soon as student clears and completes all the course content, and as soon as student clears the all the required tests, student will be allowed to enter in our placement cell, and then we'll start the placement process. So I think that's the entire process.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. So, Dhaval, Rohan wants to know how many companies visit each month on an average.
Okay. So I don't think there's a single number answer that this is the average what we get. I think till now we would have gone almost 350 odd companies which would have come and done their placement drive with us. I think in the manner of all transparency, what we have done is that all the jobs which have come to our placement cell and whose processes are over are already listed on our career camp website. What I would urge you is that please, all of you, go there, check out all the jobs which have come in the recent past. It will have the application deadline as well. All the ongoing jobs are not listed there, which are still under process. All the ones which have finished are already there. So you will see all the job details. And you should definitely do that to get a sense of what kind of companies, what kind of product companies, what kind of CTCs we are generally companies come. If I have to give you some kind of a statistical number, then I would say that just last month we did do a placement drive. That was a 10-day placement drive where a lot of companies had come in and done the end-to-end process in just 10 days. And I think we had around 32 positions for which the hiring drive happened in a span of 10 days. And that happened, I think, in October 15th to October 25th. So that will give you a sense of scale that how many companies we are getting. But I think that should not be much of your worry. You will always have enough companies to be able to apply for. And as career camp progresses and as and when we do a lot more batches, this is also an evolving process. We will be getting a lot more companies in the future as we go forward as well.
Okay.
I think if the concern of Rohan is also about particular to do with the lockdown and the job situation and how it is happening now, then I can assure you that technology world seems to be the first one which has risen from the downside and is now hiring much better than the other industries. I think the other industries are still not picking up, but technology has picked up really well. From all the numbers what we have, it seems that the hiring market is almost back at pre-COVID levels and getting better each day. By the time this batch, the batch you are applying for, that is December, is out to apply, we will be 9 months ahead. That will be October, September of next year. The situation in terms of companies hiring will be much, much better than what you see today. So I think that should be least of your worries.
Okay, perfect. So Nidhi, would love to have you take this one. So there are a couple of students named, so one is Shobit and one is Suraj. They are working in, so Shobit is working from last 1 year in Salesforce as a technology, and Suraj has been working in a service-based company from last 1.5 years. So they want to understand, is this the right place for them? And will we be able to help them get into better jobs with higher salaries? Nidhi, you are on mute.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, sorry. So I think that's a very common question, and that's a very common profile that we generally get. So I think this course will be suitable for anyone who is looking for something better in terms of their career, in terms of job, or in terms of any good profile. Because in this course, we're solely focusing on this part only, where anyone who is joining the program should be able to get the desired skill set, the desired knowledge, uh, anything like which is desired by the top-notch companies in the software domain. And regarding particularly these two students, I think we can discuss this offline in more detail around with the students, like what are their current profiles and which technologies they are working, and we can discuss in more detail around in which domain or in which technology they are particularly looking forward to go into. And if we feel like that they should join this program, we'll definitely recommend to join this program. But I think in generic scenarios, I feel that this course is definitely going to be helpful for anyone who is currently working in a service-based company or even in a product-based company, and they're looking for a better growth in terms of better profile or better salary.
Absolutely, absolutely. Perfect. And a couple of people asking about, do they need to have any programming experience beforehand, right? Anything around that. So just want to quickly answer that. So we don't really expect you to know programming beforehand. That is the reason the test, so the test will have some programming problems, but if you do well in the aptitude and you don't do well in the programming part, that's absolutely okay with us, because that basically what tells us is that you have the right aptitude to learn. And then teaching you programming is something that we are really good at, and we'll be able to take care of that, right? So yeah, so if you don't have any programming background, that's absolutely okay. And if you have experience in data science, so there is another question by Rafiq saying that he's in mechanical and has done 2 paid internships in machine learning and deep learning, absolutely. If you feel you want to get into, you want to move into web development, full stack jobs, you should absolutely apply, and we'll be happy to basically help you in the journey, right?
Yeah, just want to add one more point. So, for this coding prior experience, the data structures and algorithms part, the first course of this entire career camp program, that is designed with that intention that student is a complete fresher. He has no experience in coding. So we are starting with like entire basics and all. So there should not be any problem for anyone who has zero experience in coding.
Okay, perfect. Right. So, Dhaval, can you please answer around what the payment structure are going to look like? So there are a couple of questions around, is there any upfront payment or not? Like how exactly the whole thing works. So if you can quickly answer that, that'll be great.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think, okay, so guys, so career camp, the payment structure plans are a little different than our regular courses. For our career camp, we are offering 2 ways to pay our fees. There is one upfront fees option, which is essentially saying that you pay the total amount upfront for the entire curriculum, which removes any obligation for you to pay depending upon the job you get. It's a low risk, low reward kind of a situation where you pay a lot, you pay the entire money upfront, and then you don't have to pay the larger component which comes later when the job comes in. Then we do have another plan which we call as hack plan, which is in terms similar to an income sharing agreement kind of a structure, where what we say is that you pay some part of your fees upfront, which is a small amount compared to the upfront the entire fee, and then basis the kind of job, the CTC you get, and you accept and you join that company, basis that there is some component linked to the quantum of the CTC you get. So currently that figure stands at 10% of your CTC. For the next 2 years, you will have to pay to Coding Ninjas as a fee for this program, which is capped at 2 lakhs. So which means that suppose you get a job of say 15 lakh CTC or 20 lakh CTC, your component of deferred payment will only be limited to 2 lakh. You won't have to pay beyond that. So that is the two structures what we have. Students are free to choose that whichever plan they suit. There is essentially no difference, or there is nothing as if one is better than the other. Our teaching methodology, our effort to get them placed, get the students placed, and the effort we do in ensuring that they are the students are learning and are placeable is entirely identical. It is independent of what plan you choose. The only reason we have these two plans is just so that we offer the plans depending upon different students' preferences. Some students prefer to pay upfront, some students prefer to pay later, and that is the only reason that we have. Now, how do you go about it paying for it? I think so. What we have done is that we are providing EMI, a zero cost EMI for across all our payment options. So even if you are paying the entire fees upfront, you will have the option to pay to avail 0% EMI either through the credit card. So all our major credit cards we have made 0% EMI. In case you are not a credit card holder and you want to avail EMI facilities, we have partnered with few NBFCs, which are non-banking financial corporations. Essentially, in our case, it is Just Money, who will be providing you interest-free loans for the upfront. The same holds true for your deferred payment as well. All of your money will flow through the NBFC partners, and we will be putting you in touch with Just Money, who will be doing the legality of the work of getting the loan process. So, so what this essentially does is that it removes the burden of the quantum of the fees upfront to the student, and provides you all the flexibility to pay in an installment way without incurring any interest. So opens up. So a lot of students will now be able to pay that fees upfront. So that is where the fee structure is. And if there is any specific questions anyone would love to answer that regarding the payment.
Sure. I'll definitely But I can't see anything around that right now. Let me.
So then let me just brief the students about what, if you choose to take the Hackman, then what the process would be. So in case the students, if you are planning to pay the small fee upfront and just do the deferred payment, in which case what the process would be that once you have paid the upfront amount, we will be referring your details to our partners to do a pre-approval of a loan of a quantum, estimated quantum. But more importantly, what will it involve is that you will have to sign a legal agreement with Coding Ninjas, which is called as deferred payment agreement. It's essentially an agreement where you accept to pay Coding Ninjas the amount of money which is equivalent to the 10% of your salary once you get the job and you join the job. So essentially, it's just uh, in written the agreement, whatever we are communicating as a fees to you. So that needs to be signed and submitted before the start of the batch, and that is the only additional activity a student who chooses Hackman has to do over a student who chooses the standard
plan. Right. So I think that sort of answers a question asked by somebody like I don't know the name. Let me just quickly check. So I'm not able to find the name, but the question was that if they pay 1.25 lakh upfront, they don't have to pay anything as per the CTC later, right? So that's something that they
absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay, perfect. Dhaval, I think like we've sort of taken care of this question already. Manik wants to know what product-based companies are going to hire us, right? Like, so what product-based companies are coming and hiring? So Manik, we would not like to take names because sometimes some companies will come once, some companies will come repeatedly and all of that, right? So it's very hard for us to take names, but if you go on the CareerCam website, you will see an option of placement cell. And Dhaval, correct me if I'm wrong. If you click on that placement cell, you will be able to see all the past jobs, all the companies that have hired from us. And that'll give you a very good idea on the kind of variety of product-based companies that will be coming and hire from CareerCam, from this program.
I think the only thing is that from our side, we ensure that only the companies which will utilize the knowledge what you have learned, and the companies which are not service based, which are product based, become like our placement self criteria itself for to entertain them to come and hire from CareerCam. So more than you, I think our placement team will take care that only the relevant and the appropriate companies are entertained and are able to hire from you. And trust me, there are like a lot of companies we have to reject because we feel that they will not be the right fit for our students.
Right. So Ankur has a very specific question around GSOC. Ankur, I'm not so sure about the answer here. I'll have to check and answer that for you. So if you can just send us an email, or our team will get back to you. So the question is around, so apparently GSOC guidelines have allowed candidates enrolled in coding schools to participate. So he wants to understand if he has graduated from college but is part of CareerCam, can he still apply for GSOC? So I'm not sure about the answer here, so we'll get back to you. Right, so I think there are a few questions, Nidhi, which are around, will there be a class every day? If I take leave of 3-4 days, what's going to happen? And like, I think they want to understand the overall process, right? So if you can just help answering that, that'll be amazing.
Yeah, sure. So first of all, so this course is a mixture of like pre-recorded content plus live sessions. That means in this entire program, what is going to happen is every week we are going to release some pre-recorded content. That's like, let's say in week 1, we'll be releasing 2 lectures or 3 lectures. In week 2, we'll be releasing 2 or 3 lectures generally. And that entirely depends on the difficulty level of the topic. So if you feel that student can complete 2 topics in a week, we'll be releasing 2 topics. If we feel the topics are relatively easy and student can easily complete 3 or 4 topics, then accordingly we'll be releasing the content. So this pre-recorded content is something which student can complete according to their ease. It's like they can watch the videos at night or in the morning or in the afternoon, like any time when they feel they have time and they're free and they want to complete the content. Now, in this pre-recorded content, what happens is, let's say there is a lecture called Aries. Now, in that lecture, every lecture is having some 7 or 8 or 10 videos, and after every short video, there are some questions which student have to attempt just to ensure that he has learned properly from the previous video. And after every lecture, there is like proper coding assignment. That's like a proper practice section where after attempting that practice section, student can get the confidence that, okay, I've learned this topic well, and I'm now able to code different problems related to this particular topic. So that's how our pre-recorded content works. Now, along with this pre-recorded content, we generally keep 2 or 3 live sessions per week. And agenda of these live sessions are first to take any common doubts that our students are having. So for doubt solving, we do have a proper doubt resolution with our TAs already. But if students are having some common doubts, they are feeling difficulty in any particular topic, we will be catering that with the help of our live sessions. So that's like one major agenda of having the live sessions. And the second and another important agenda is to discuss few more problems, to discuss like how can we solve a new problem, how should we go about any new problem that we encounter in any interview, what kind of optimizations we can do, what kind of possible scenarios can be there for solving a particular problem. So all such discussions also happen through our live sessions only. And if you're worried around the time, like at which time, on which day we are going to have these live sessions, so generally one session happens in weekends, like on Saturdays or Sundays. We try to keep them one on weekends and 1 or 2 on weekdays, and generally in the evening part. When I say evening, that means after 5 p.m. It generally happens around 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. or 8 p.m., depending when majority of the students in the batch are okay with that particular timing, because we feel majority of the student might be in college or they'll be engaged in their jobs or internships, or like they might be having some engagements in the mornings. So we try to keep our all the live sessions generally in the evenings except weekends. So that's the process.
Yeah. So, Dhaval, would love to have you answer this. So there are a few people who want to understand, like people are saying that, hey, I want only jobs above 8 lakh. I want jobs only above 6 lakh, 7 lakh, right? Like, so like the student has something like this in their mind, right? Like in terms of expectation. So how
Right.
do we manage that? Right. So that is one part. Second part is, so like, let me just quickly answer this second thing, right? Like, so a bunch of students have been asking around whether like their 4-year experience at 5 LPA or like 3-year experience at certain LPA. Honestly, guys, right? Like, as I've been saying, your past matters very, very less. Like the skill set that you are able to gain is going to be far more important. So please focus on that. Sorry, Dhaval. Yeah, please go ahead.
Sure. I think so. I know, guys, you have expectation around CTC, and I would go ahead and even say that not only CTC. I'm sure you guys also have expectation around city. You have expectation around company name. You have expectation around role, and I think that is a very fair expectation to have. Every individual will have certain preferences, and every individual will have certain limitations. That this is all where I can join, and this is what kind of a CTC I require. What we are doing is that, and that is why the entire placement cell is open for you to apply to whichever opportunity you feel is best suited for as per your expectation. We generally get companies, so our average CTC, I'm giving you this data so that you guys can decide that does it fall under your expectations or not. The average CTC currently would stand at somewhere between 7.8L to 8.2L, and that is the middle of the curve in a bell curve, where the highest CTCs would have gone to 12 lakh, 30 lakh, 14 lakh range, and lowest would be at 5.5. So that is the range, the companies we get. Of course, the volume of the companies in each CTC is exactly like how the bell curve would look like, and you will always be free to choose. Now, what will be available to you? So before you apply, you will have the information around the city, you will have the information around the CTC, you will have information about the role, and if there is any other additional conditions, for example, uh, uh, internship prior to joining, or is there a bond around it, anything of that specific nature which will impact your decision to choose a company, that will be available to you upfront before you apply. So the choice will always be yours. If you think that there's a company that you only want to apply to a company which is 8 lakh and above, you will free to be do so. If you think I only want to apply to a company which gives me a job in say Delhi, Mumbai, and Bangalore, you will be free to do so. These may not be a recommendations from us, but these are only the freedom you have, which eventually would mean that there will be a certain only a certain number of companies you will be able to apply. So having said that, I think. What I would want to really push down to all of you is would be that for most of you, it was going to be either the first job or at least the first job in the tech world. Either you have not done a job before or you've done a non-tech job before, and most of you in this batch are going to have similar nature. There'll be, I think, few students who will be moving from say a tech background to a product role. So for the majority of the students, what I would push down is that definitely the incoming starting CTC is a criteria you should look at, and that is you should apply. However, I would push down that do give equal weightage to the kind of role you are doing, the kind of company it is, and what kind of future you see doing work in that technology in that field. And why I'm saying is that because I'm sure you have your seniors, you would have seen the majority of the growth in terms of remuneration or understanding and or knowledge happens once you are inside a company and you grow within the company and deliver year on year to that company, right? And why that happens is that because in an interview there's only a limited number of information what a interviewer will have at that point. But once you're inside a job, you will have a lot more data to decide on your remuneration. And from my experience, I can tell you is that the growth and a software developer will see doing good job inside a company is far more than the hunt for the starting salary. And that is we see it everywhere. We see it in our Coding India's technology team. We do see it in almost every other company. And I think once you talk to your seniors, I think they'll be able to guide you more around how it happens. So that is where. But to summarize the answer, I think the option will always be yours. And we do not want to segregate companies basis CTC. We want to segregate basis everything in terms of location, job, company name, and your individual preference.
Perfect. So I think that sort of answers a lot of questions around, hey, can I get a job in South India only? Can I get a job in Delhi only? So I think those are also very beautifully covered by Dhaval. So it's your choice.
But only thing, students, you'll have to just understand that the more cuts you need in your market, the choices will keep on going down. Though I completely understand that it's eventually just one job you need, you don't need to crack all. But just be aware that the more limitations you put on yourself, the lesser the options you will have in the market. And that is not just true for career camp, that is true for generally how the job market reacts.
Right. And there are a bunch of people who want to understand. So I think there is one student who is asking, what is an EMI? So EMI just means equal monthly installments, right? Like, so if you have to pay 50,000 rupees upfront or like 1.25 lakh upfront, so instead of paying all the money on day one, you can choose to pay this over few months in a equal monthly installments, right? So, and yes, we do have an option to pay EMIs for both the hack as well as the standard plan. That is the 50K and the 1.25 lakh upfront payment. You can pay both of them through EMI. Right. Okay. Dhaval, I think like again a very common question, right? Like, is there a minimum salary as well that we propose on Career Camp?
No. So what we have done is that the companies which come through our placement cell, we have created a artificial cutoff of 5 lakh. So we do not entertain companies which are less than 5 lakh. It has nothing to do with minimum salary. It's just that this is what we feel is what we should be able to do. However, as part of our activities around placement, what we do is uh, we have a tie-up with, say, companies like Hirist. And it is possible that as we progress and career camp evolves, we will be having more and more tie-ups with a lot more companies. Right? We might have tie-up with Naukri, we might have tie-up with more companies. And what will happen is that it will help you get discovered by a lot of companies in the market, which is not only limited to companies which come through our placements. Now, in that process, what will happen is that all sort of CTCs will be opened for you. So, for example, if you have a coding ninja, so by the way, you will get a coding ninja certified account on Hirist, which will mean that you will get discovered by a lot more people. Now, there you will have a choice to apply to whichever role, whatever CTC you think is something which you would love to entertain. And where the choice again comes down to you, what companies you think you want to apply to. So there is no minimum CTC, which is something we are going to recommend to anyone, but you have to choose what you feel is the right CTC for you and what you want to apply for.
Right.
So no recommendation from our side basis your past resume and skill set. I think somewhere it's not even very fair for us to give that kind of a judgment, given that a lot of your knowledge will now begin in career camp. You would be doing the coding for the first time, and that is why it's little unfair. And so we have what we have made is that no recommendation, it's only a choice now.
Okay, perfect. So a few questions around, I am in BCA, can I join? I am in MCA second year, can I join? Right, a simple answer to all these questions, right? Like, you can join if you will be eligible to apply for jobs as soon as the program finishes, which is 9 months from now, right? So if you are in final year of your degree, you can apply irrespective of whether you are doing a BCA, whether you're doing an MCA, right? Like, we don't care about your degree. We care far more about your zeal to learn and your aptitude to learn, right? So that's something that we are going to care about and we are going to test as part of our process. But in general, we are just like, again, another question around, I'm doing MCA from IGNOU. We don't care about that. We are absolutely okay. We are absolutely happy. If you want to go through it, if you want to work through this, we are absolutely happy to work along with you. As long as you are able to clear the tests, right? So that you take care of that. So perfect. That's about it. Chavi, we already talked about the admission test of career camp. It's going to consist of multiple aptitude questions and few programming problems as well. We tend to give admission to students who do really well in either one of these or do well in like both of them combined, right? That's generally what we do. So if you don't have programming background, that's not something that you should worry about at all, right? So Nidhi, would love to have you take this question. So a bunch of people in the webinar are actually our students, our current students. They have done the data structure algorithm course. There is somebody who has done the data science course as well, and they want to understand, like, is this really useful for me? Because you're going to start from scratch. How will it work for me? Can you tell me? And like, will it really, do they really have to spend like 9 months doing all of this? And like, just would love to understand from you.
Right. So anyone who has done, let's say, data structures course already with us, and as I already mentioned that we are planning to spend like initial 2-3 months for learning the data structure and algorithms part. So it's not a very hard bound duration where a student has to spend 9 months for the learning and then start preparing for the placements. So agenda is, as soon as student is ready for the placement, as soon as student has gained all the required knowledge, student will be allowed to enter in the placement cell. And with that statement, what I mean exactly is, for every component of the course, what we have done is we have created some tests just to ensure that student has learned things properly, and just to get the confidence on student can also get the confidence. Okay, I am very confident with this section and I can move to the next section. So as soon as student clears each and every required component of this entire curriculum, for this entire career camp program, student will be allowed to sit for the placements and allowed to start preparing for all the opportunities that our placement cell is getting. For example, if let's say there is a student who has already done the data structures course with us, I would say that student just have to skim through the course very fastly. I'll not recommend to like skip that course. I'll rather suggest that okay, just go through the course once again, revise the concepts, spend some time on any particular topic you feel like you're not very confident, and just clear all the tests immediately. As soon as you'll clear the test, you'll be given the access of next component of the course, which are web development part, which are like data operating systems, DBMS, system design. So all of that component will be given to you immediately as soon as you complete the first section. And if let's say you're able to complete the entire course in let's say 4 months, you'll be allowed to sit for placements in 4 months only. No need to wait for 9 months. So it's like as soon as you are able to complete the course, you are allowed to sit for the placements. So it's like
Okay.
that.
Okay. So would love to take this question from Himanshu. Himanshu is in third year and wants to drop out of college and join the career camp. So he wants to understand, is degree important or necessary? So Himanshu, first of all, would like to say that, is it necessary? It's not. Absolutely not. If you are absolutely sure you want to do this, it's absolutely fine with us as well. We will be happy to have you as part of the program as long as you are able to complete our criteria. That being said, this is a decision which I would recommend you to take with a lot of caution. It does come with a lot of problems as well. So you need to evaluate and not go with like just your gut feeling right now, and take a little more calculated decision, right? So for example, if you don't complete your degree, any chances of doing a master's sort of goes away, right? Any chances of getting a US visa sort of goes away as well, right? Like, so if any of these things are important for you, then doing a degree will be far better than like letting it go, especially because you're in third year, right? Like, so like 2.5 साल सह लिया है ना, so अब 1.5 साल ही बचा है. So anyways, if you're still very sure, like, feel free to write to me. My email ID is ankush@codingninjas.com, and I'll be happy to answer any query and help you. Like, would love to understand your thought process here, and then we can decide accordingly, right? Akhilesh, yes, you can pay 50K in 6 months EMI. That's not a problem at all, right? And so Nidhi, I think you sort of covered this, but there are a couple of students who want to understand, do they have to wait for 9 months to
No,
get a
no,
job?
no, no, not at all. As soon as they complete all the required tests, they can start with the placement process. And it can be as short as like 1 month or 2 months, or like it can be anything. 9 months is not hard bound.
Right, right. And do they get recording of the webinars as well? Like
Yes,
they do.
yes. We do provide a recording of all these live sessions that we take.
Okay, Rahul wants to know, can a class 12 student apply for the program? So Rahul, if you are currently in class 12, I will highly recommend you to not think about this. Work for your JEE, NEET, whatever you're doing, please focus on that, right? If you are like, even if you were in first year, I would have said, you're not even 18, right? I would have asked to, like, I want to talk to your parents and then basically decide if this is the right thing for you or not. So in general, if you're in class 12, I would not recommend you to apply, and I would recommend you to focus on your studies right now, and then we can think about later. Perfect. Perfect. Right. So I said my email ID is ankush@codingninjas.com. Right. So Suraj Nidhi and Dhaval will quickly take 3-4 questions, very small questions. We'll quickly take that. So one is how to apply for this. So you can go to our website, and there is a application form. You can apply from there. My team will quickly write down the website link, right? Siddhant wants to know, even after getting placement, do we have to constantly upskill? Does it become difficult to stay relevant? I don't think it becomes difficult to stay relevant. If you have the right basics, learning anything new generally becomes easy, right? So you need to have a solid foundation that you will build as part of career camp. Then generally it becomes easier. In general, yes, I would recommend you to continue, keep learning and keep working hard. That's always going to help, right? So Taranjeet is asking, if I complete the course in 5 months, how long can I sit for placements? So Taranjeet, the window is 18 months from starting of the program, right? So if you complete in 5 months, you will still have 13 more months to apply for placements. I don't think you will do 13 more months. If you will complete in 5 months, I'm absolutely sure you are doing an amazing job. And वो एक महीने में लग जाएगी, उसके बाद 1-2 महीने में लग जाएगी. But assuming you're doing everything well, right? Like, so then that's not going to be a problem. I don't think you would need 13 more months for that. Okay. Suraj, you can write code in the entrance test. You can write code in C++, Java, Python. All three are supported. I would recommend you to use one of these three in the test. That's correct, Nidhi, right? All three will be supported, right?
Yes.
Right. Okay. Perfect. Okay, guys, seems like I think we have answered all the questions, and we're just now getting similar questions again and again. If, right, somebody wants to know how to get Udemy courses for free, I don't know how you can do that. I don't think we are the right people to answer that. Anyways, right. So Amit, we will not have in-person classes. I don't think anybody wants to meet anybody in person nowadays anyways. Would recommend you to stay away from others as well. In terms of interaction during the course, we will have a lot of interaction during the course. We will, as Nidhi mentioned, we'll have a couple of webinars, as well as there'll be a Slack group where we'll be constantly in touch. And all of these things will allow you to stay in touch with everybody. Everybody means people who are teaching you, your teaching assistants, your batchmates, and all of that, you'll be able to take care of that, right? So that is going to be taken care of. Don't worry about that. But not in person, right? Tanmay, there will be batches in future as well. So if I remember correctly, you are in second year. So yes, I think you should wait for few more months, and then you can apply again. Perfect. So I think we are almost done. I think Dhaval would like to take this one last question, and I think we can call it a night then. Rohan wants to know, what if Rohan gets placed in a company with CTC less than 5 LP? Will he have to pay?
The simple answer is yes, Rohan. The assumption here, so okay. So if Rohan, you want to join a company and you have applied to that company considering all the factors which were in front of you, and this is decided to apply and join the company, then definitely you will have to pay. There is no criteria around minimum CTC. If you choose to voluntarily join a company, then the obligation to pay definitely stays.
Right. So
I think I just want to urge everyone not to look at the negatives and the downsides as the factors to decide on how to apply, not apply, continue, not continue. I think optimizing for things which are negative will never be the right way to decide on how to go it. Always optimize for the positive side. Think of it, the kind of delta you will get in terms of the knowledge base, in terms of the education you get, that is anyways going to be invaluable independent of what kind of a job you get immediately after that. It's going to be lifelong learning for you. Think of it like an education platform to get all the knowledge. If you nail it, jobs are just going to be an outcome of that. It is just it's not the end goal. It's just a means to a larger career. So guys, just optimize and look at it that this is going to give you a 9 month of aggressive, dedicated web developer education. I don't think you'll be able to get that anywhere else in any other company.
right. So Taranjit, yes, they will be, I do take few webinars every now and then. So not promising anything, but yes, like I don't think it will happen that during the whole program, you will not get to see me. That doesn't happen. And so again, a lot of questions around third year. Can I join? Fourth year, I can join. Same answer. If you are available to take a job at the end of the program, which is 9 months from now, you can join. If you're in third year, I'm assuming that's not going to be true, so you cannot do it. If you, okay, now a good question coming from help others, like if I get a job in 4th month of the program through Coding Ninjas, will I still be required to complete the program? So guys, I would recommend you to complete the program because you are learning something fun, right? Like you're learning something interesting which is going to help you in your life, right? Like always it's going to help you. So you should really complete the whole thing. And that being said, the purpose of the program is to help you get a job, right? That's it. So you don't want to continue, we are absolutely okay with that. Will I recommend that? I will absolutely not recommend that. I would still recommend you to work hard and complete the program because you will learn a lot and that's really going to help you out eventually. Okay, perfect. I think we are done with all the questions. Thank you so much, Nidhi. Thank you so much, Dhaval. And thank you to everyone who attended the webinar. I hope we were able to answer all your questions. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Yeah.